Many thanks for staying with us here on Newsdesk. To some more stories now. And Chief Executive for the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Kwesi Osei, says it will from next week resume operations to clear off mentally ill persons from the streets. According to him, the exercise, which was temporarily stalled due to financial constraints, will bounce back. Dr. Osei says since the operation began 2 years ago, he has successfully reunited over 70 mentally ill persons with their families.
The program, dubbed Operation Clear the Street and Unchain Mental Health Patients, started 2 years ago with the aim of clearing mentally ill persons off the streets. The exercise had to be temporarily suspended due to the lack of funds. According to the Mental Health Authority, despite the constraints, some services have been chalked. Dr. Kwesi Osei says the exercise will resume next week.
What has happened is the fact that we didn't have enough money to maintain the momentum with which we started. But we've not stopped. We've not abandoned the project. We are still going ahead. Any moment from now, the next set of clearing will be happening. And as I said, because we didn't have money in between, that was a challenge. But we are trying to see how we can mobilize the resources, funding, so that we will continue. Because the ultimate aim is to ensure that no mental ill patient is seen on the streets, vagrant, dirty, unkempt, and that kind of thing. So it's a project that we are embarking on, and not only in Accra, in all the other capital towns, the cities, in fact even villages, because ultimately everybody has the right to be attended to. I expect that anytime next week, in fact there is a proposal on the table now for just the next program, and that has been approved. So they'll be embarking on it any moment from, let's say, this week.
When you take them off the streets, what happens to them?
When we take them, we send them to the psychiatric hospitals and treat them. We take small numbers at a time, treat them, get them to be well.
How many of these ill people have we been successfully been able to integrate into the society?
Since we started, about 70.
An average of 500 mentally ill persons roam the streets of Accra and Tema. The Mental Health Authority says it will also carry out a national census of mentally ill persons in the country in order to help sustain its plan.
Well, so far, what we've been generally Accra, but what we've been doing is that those who are at prominent places where they stand to be in danger to the society or to themselves, those are the ones we take first. But ultimately, anybody who is on the streets, mental ill, will be taken. We are going to do a national census of mentally ill throughout the world, throughout the country, in the next 1 or 2 months. And that will give us the exact picture of how many people are there. And then it will help us be able to strategize fully for them.
Now, police in the Ashanti region have issued a notice for the arrest of Mr. Entry Boesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, the NPP chairman for the Ashanti region. The police want him to assist with investigation about allegations that he assaulted the MP for Menchia North, Collins Oso-Mankwa, and the constituency secretary for the same constituency, Felix Ibrahim, I beg your pardon. Now, the assault allegedly happened at Krofrom in Kumasi, the Ashanti region capital. A statement from the police says Chairman Wontumi has refused to honor an invitation to assist with investigations into the assault allegation. But let's get more on this now from Felix Ibrahim, who's joining me now over the phone, and he's one of the persons whom we are told was allegedly assaulted by the NPP regional chairman. I'm speaking of Entry Boesiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. So, Mr. Ibrahim, good morning. Many thanks for your time here on Newsdesk, sir. Right, we seem to have lost him on the line there, but that has to do with that very situation where the member of parliament for the area, as well as the constituency secretary for also for an area in the Ashanti region, we are told have been assaulted by the Ashanti regional chairman of the NPP, Entry Boesiako. Okay, we'll be bringing you a lot more on this in a short while, but let's now talk about some legal issues. And the Supreme Court is today hearing an application filed by the NDC's parliamentary candidate for the Clote-Korle constituency, Dr. Zanetto Rawlings, over her candidature. She's challenging the capacity of the High Court hearing the case in which her candidature is being contested. This follows an adjournment last week due to the unavailability of the judges empaneled to hear the case. The incumbent member of parliament for the area, Niyama Ashite, is in court challenging his defeat in the party's primary, citing some constitutional breaches. According to him, Dr. Zaneto Rawlings did not qualify to be elected as the parliamentary nominee since at the time of the contest she was not a registered voter. We'll be speaking to our correspondent Raymond Akwa, who is also in court this morning, and he'll be bringing us a lot more on this subsequently. But let's return to that very story I brought you a short while ago. It has to do with police in the Ashanti region issuing a notice for the arrest of Mr. Ntwibua Esiako, also known as Chairman Wontumi, for assaulting two members of his party over the weekend or so. So let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to Ibrahim Felix. He's the constituency secretary for the area. He was assaulted allegedly by the regional chairman for the party, Chairman Wontumi. So, Mr. Ibrahim, good morning. Many thanks for your time on News Desk, sir.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
The first thing I want to find out from you is, how are you doing? We're told you were hospitalized following the incident. How are you doing now?
I'm doing extremely well.
Okay. You didn't suffer any bruises or any extreme, anything that probably was a bit extreme, did you?
Currently, I'm having a lot of pain on my ribs and then my left leg. That's where I'm currently having a serious problem. Okay.
So I just want you to tell us really what happened. You are saying that the regional chairman of the NPP, that's Chairman Wontumi, Mr. Ntwibua Esiako, assaulted you physically?
Yes, he physically assaulted me. What had happened actually was that on Sunday, when I was going around to monitor the process, I go to one polling center or one registration center called Nana Fulo Registration Center, and then I was there monitoring it and chatting with our party people over there. So in that moment, the Honorable Member of Parliament also came around. So whilst we were there chatting and then talking to people in the queue to have patience, because the machine was having a little problem. So we're telling the people to have patience so that they'll be able to register. So within a twinkle of an eye, when we were around chatting, we saw a convoy of 3 vehicles. One Lexus Land Cruiser, one Jeep, and then one Toyota pickup, and then 2 motorbikes. So they came into the scene. We saw our regional chairman coming out of the Land Cruiser. When he got down, he started looking for me, mentioned my name. Where is Felix? Well, in Felix. So one person from Menchia South pointed out to me that this is Felix. So he attacked me personally. He beat me up. Together with one of his bodyguards, they mercilessly beat me up. And then it got to a point when the bodyguard said, "Chairman, should we shoot him?" Then the police came into my intervention, and then I was able to raise.
So you're saying the chairman even wanted to shoot you at a point? Is that what you said? Mr. Ibrahim? Felix Ibrahim, can you hear me, sir? Okay, so I don't know what's with the lines, but Felix Ibrahim is the constituency secretary for the Menchia North. He happens to be a member of the NPP, but his own regional chairman, he's telling us, assaulted him on Sunday, and at the point, he was almost shot or so. I didn't really get that part, so I really wanted clarity on that, but we seem to have lost him on the line there. But what we do know as the update on this situation is that Mr. Wontumi, that's Chairman Wontumi, Mr. Ntwibua Esiako, failed to honor a police invitation to assist with investigations as far as this very issue is concerned. We do know that the police in the region has issued a directive to the Criminal Investigations Department to arrest him for questioning on this very subject matter. We'll be following up on this and bring you a lot more in subsequent bulletins. But time now for business with Emmanuel Abuajiriafe after this break.